Your military background makes people uncomfortable. Maybe you should leave. I'm Colonel James Sullivan, retired. 25 years defending this country. Purple Heart from taking shrapnel, saving 3 soldiers' lives. And the woman saying this? My daughter's new mother-in-law at the wedding. But that gut punch was nothing compared to what came next. My own daughter, my blood, turned to me in front of 150 witnesses and delivered the killing blow. Dad, your money was invited. You weren't. Now go. The child I raised, fed, sacrificed for, just publicly executed our relationship because her new family found my war service embarrassing. What they didn't know? I don't just cut checks. I control things. The kind of things that can destroy their perfect little social world in one phone call. Hit that subscribe button right now. I drop stories like this weekly, and what happens next will make your jaw hit the floor. 3 months earlier, when Kelly called asking for help with her wedding, I didn't hesitate. Dad, the Whitmores backed out of their half. We're looking at canceling everything. My daughter, my only child, the marketing executive who'd barely spoken to me since her mother and I divorced 8 years ago. How much do you need? $95,000. I know it's a lot, but I'll transfer it today. The relief in her voice made every dollar worth it. Or so I thought. The first warning sign came during the rehearsal dinner. Patricia Whitmore, Kelly's new mother-in-law, approached me at the bar. Perfectly coiffed silver hair, designer dress that probably cost more than most people's monthly salary. James, isn't it? I understand you're in some sort of security business? Defense consulting. Sullivan Defense Consulting. Her smile never wavered. How interesting. And you were in the military? 25 years. Army. I see. She glanced around the room. Well, I do hope tomorrow's reception won't have too many war stories. The Whitmore family values a certain level of sophistication. I sipped my bourbon. Neat. 2 fingers. Ma'am, sophistication and service aren't mutually exclusive. Of course not. Her laugh sounded like wind chimes in a hurricane. I'm sure you understand social dynamics. Perhaps tone down the military references tomorrow? For Kelly's sake? Strike 1. The second warning came that morning. Kelly pulled me aside before the ceremony. Dad, about your speech tonight. What about it? Mrs. Whitmore thinks maybe you should skip it. Let Charles's father handle the toasts. Charles, her new husband, trust fund baby who'd never worked a day in his life. Kelly, I'm your father. I know, but his family is paying for the honeymoon and the down payment on our house. It's complicated. Strike 2. I should have seen the pattern, should have recognized the tactical situation. But when you love someone, you convince yourself their behavior has explanations that don't break your heart. The wedding ceremony itself was beautiful. Virginia Beach Country Club, oceanfront views, 150 guests in black tie formal. I wore my dress blues. Full decorations. Purple Heart, Bronze Star, Combat Infantry Badge, 25 years of service on my chest. Some of the guests stared. Not with respect, with curiosity, like I was an interesting museum exhibit. But Kelly looked radiant walking down the aisle, and when she smiled at me from the altar, I forgot about everything else. The reception started smoothly enough. Cocktail hour on the terrace, shrimp cocktail at $25 per pound. Open bar with top-shelf liquor. The works. I mingled, made small talk, answered the same questions about my time in the service and my current business ventures. Most guests were polite, some genuinely interested in military experiences. Then Patricia Whitmore found me again. James, I've been meaning to ask. Your business, does it involve weapons? We consult on defense technologies, help companies navigate federal contracts. Ah, she sipped her champagne. Dom Perignon, $300 a bottle. And you've seen combat? Iraq, 2 tours. Her expression shifted. Subtle. But I'd been reading faces in hostile territory for decades. How challenging that must have been. All that violence. The way she said violence, like it was a disease I might spread. Ma'am, violence is what I helped end, not what I brought home. Of course, it's just... She glanced toward Kelly, now posing for pictures with her new husband. Some experiences leave marks, don't they? Strike 3 was coming. I could feel it building like a storm front, but I still believed family meant something. Still thought the daughter I'd raised would remember who taught her about honor and sacrifice. I was about to learn that some lessons come at exactly the price you can afford to lose. Standing there in my dress blues, watching Kelly pose for photos worth more than some people's cars, I realized what was really at stake. This wasn't just about money. $95,000 was significant,
But I'd made that back in 2 months of contracts. Sullivan Defense Consulting pulled $30 million annually. Money wasn't the issue. This was about legacy. 25 years in the Army. Starting as an 18-year-old private from nowhere, Virginia. Working my way up through enlisted ranks, then officer training. Leading men and women in the worst conditions humanity could create. Iraq, 2004. Roadside bomb took out our convoy. Shrapnel in my left leg, ringing in my ears that lasted 6 months. But I pulled 3 soldiers out of that burning Humvee, got them home to their families. The Purple Heart wasn't decoration. It was proof that some things matter more than personal safety. Building my company from nothing after retirement. Defense contractors need someone who understands both military requirements and civilian regulations. Someone who's been shot at and knows what equipment actually works under pressure. 8 years building relationships, Pentagon contacts, corporate partnerships, the respect of men and women who'd served alongside me. All of that was in this room. My reputation, my standing in both the military and business communities, veterans who'd flown in for Kelly's wedding, defense industry colleagues who'd watched me build something meaningful. If I stayed silent while Patricia Whitmore and her family treated military service like embarrassing manual labor, what message did that send? To the staff sergeant sitting at table 12 who'd lost his leg in Afghanistan? To the Navy commander at table 6 who'd served 3 tours in the Persian Gulf? To the young Marine at table 15, just back from his first deployment? That service means nothing when measured against social status? That sacrifice gets forgotten when sophistication matters more? But Kelly was my daughter. The little girl who used to run to the door when I came home on leave, who wore my old Army t-shirts to bed, who told her 3rd grade class that her daddy was a hero. If I made a scene, I'd lose her forever. The Whitmores would make sure of that. They had the money, the social connections, the ability to freeze me out completely. But if I stayed quiet, I'd lose something else. Something I'd spent 25 years earning and 8 years rebuilding. My honor. The weight of that choice sat heavy as the bronze star on my chest. Some battles you win by fighting, others you win by choosing the right moment to engage. I just had to figure out which kind of battle this was going to be. The answer came sooner than expected. Dinner service began at 7:30. Prime rib, lobster tail, sides that cost more per plate than most people spent on groceries in a week. I sat at the parents' table, directly facing the Whitmores. Patricia's husband, Charles Sr., held court with stories about yacht clubs and golf tournaments. His idea of struggle was choosing between the Martha's Vineyard house and the Aspen condo for Christmas. "James," he said during the second course, "Patricia mentioned you're in the security business. Private investigation? Defense consulting. We help companies navigate military contracts. Interesting." He cut his prime rib with surgical precision. "Must be quite different from your Army days." "Different mission, same principles." Patricia leaned forward. "What sort of principles?" Here we go, I thought. Integrity, accountability, mission first. "How admirable." Her tone suggested otherwise, though I imagine civilian life requires more nuanced approaches. "Ma'am?" Well, the military is so black and white, isn't it? Orders and obedience. Civilian society requires more sophisticated thinking. The table went quiet. 8 people suddenly very interested in their lobster. Sophisticated thinking like what? Reading social situations, understanding when directness might be inappropriate. Charles Sr. nodded. Patricia has a point. Business today is about relationships, perception management. I set down my fork. And what perception are you managing right now? I'm sorry. What perception are you managing by suggesting military service lacks sophistication? Patricia's smile tightened. I'm simply saying that some experiences translate better to polite society than others. Polite society. Yes. Like wedding receptions funded by people who've seen impolite things so you don't have to? The silence stretched. 8 pairs of eyes watching 2 people circle each other. Charles Sr. cleared his throat. "James, I think what Patricia means. I can speak for myself, Charles." Patricia's voice had an edge now. "I mean that certain backgrounds come with certain associations. Violence, aggression, trauma. You think I'm traumatized? I think you've been exposed to things that might make others uncomfortable." Others meaning who? Our friends, our social circle, people of a certain standing. There it was. The truth under all that southern politeness. Standing. Yes. Like the standing that comes from inheriting money versus earning it? Her face flushed. "Excuse me? You heard me." Charles Sr. stood. Now see here. Sit down, Charles. I didn't raise my voice. Didn't need to. 25 years of command presence doesn't disappear because you're wearing a tuxedo instead of ACUs. He sat. I looked back at Patricia. You want to talk about standing? About sophistication? I think this conversation has gone far enough. I haven't started. You want to know what lacks sophistication? Accepting $95,000 from someone whose background embarrasses you. We didn't ask for your money. No. Your son married my daughter. Same thing. The waiter approached with wine. Patricia waved him away without looking. Your daughter chose our family, James. She chose our values. Your values including taking money from people you consider beneath you. Nobody said anything about beneath. You didn't have to. It's written across your face every time you look at these. I tapped the decorations on my chest. Purple Heart. Bronze Star. Combat Infantry Badge. 25 years of service you'd rather pretend doesn't exist. Those are your choices. Those are my accomplishments. And the reason you're eating $30 a plate prime rib instead of hot dogs from a food truck. Charles Sr. found his voice. You're out of line. Am I? Your family backed out of paying for this wedding. Who stepped up? That's between you and Kelly. Is it? Because it seems like you're enjoying the benefits while questioning the source. Patricia's eyes flashed. We questioned nothing about your money, just the man who earned it. We questioned whether certain attitudes belong in civilized company. Certain attitudes like what? Like the assumption that military service entitles you to respect. The table went dead silent. Even the neighboring tables stopped talking. I smiled, the kind of smile that made enemy combatants reconsider their life choices. Ma'am, I never assumed anything. I earned respect. The difference is probably too sophisticated for you to understand. She stood abruptly. I don't have to listen to this. No, you don't. But you already cashed my check. What's that supposed to mean? It means we'll finish this conversation when you're ready to be honest about what's really bothering you. Which is? I stood slowly. Military bearing, shoulders square, voice calm as morning reveille. That your precious social standing depends on money from people you consider beneath you, and deep down you know it. Patricia Whitmore stared at me for 10 seconds. Then she turned and walked toward the ladies' room. Charles Sr. started to follow. I held up one hand. She'll be back. People like her always come back. He hesitated, then sat down. The rest of the table pretended to eat their dinner, but I could feel the tension spreading through the room like ripples in water. Someone was going to escalate this. Someone was going to push it past the point of no return. I just hoped it wouldn't be my daughter. Patricia returned 15 minutes later, composed, lipstick fresh, ready for round 2. But something had shifted in the room. I noticed it in the way the waitstaff moved, more purposeful, more attentive, like they were watching for signals. The head waiter, an older gentleman with military bearing, approached our table. Colonel Sullivan, everything satisfactory this evening? Outstanding, Sergeant. His face lit up. You recognize the posture? 22 years, Marines. Force Recon. Outstanding, sir. Please let me know if you need anything. Patricia watched this exchange with puzzled irritation. How did he know your rank? People recognize what they respect. Charles Sr. shifted uncomfortably. The service here is exceptional. We've been members for 15 years. Good staff, I agreed. Professional operation. What they didn't know was that I'd been here before. Not as a guest, as a business partner. 3 years ago, the Virginia Beach Country Club faced a crisis. Membership declining. Operating costs rising. They needed a corporate sponsor. Someone with deep pockets and local connections. Sullivan Defense Consulting stepped up. $500,000 annually. Enough to upgrade facilities, retain quality staff, and maintain the kind of exclusivity that attracted families like the Whitmores. My signature was on their annual operating budget, but I hadn't mentioned that to Kelly, hadn't mentioned it to anyone. In my experience, power works best when people underestimate it. The DJ started the music. First dance for Kelly and Charles. Father-daughter dance would be next. My moment to show these people that blood meant more than breeding. Except Kelly approached our table before the song ended. Dad, about the father-daughter dance. My stomach dropped. What about it? Charles's father wants to do a family dance instead, all the parents together. Kelly, it's more inclusive, more modern. Patricia smiled. We thought it would be lovely. All of us sharing the moment. All of us. Meaning her and Charles Sr., with me as an afterthought. Your choice, I said. Kelly looked relieved. Thanks for understanding. She walked away. My daughter. The little girl who used to stand on my feet while we danced in the living room. Now she was choosing social convenience over 26 years of being her father. I excused myself. Needed air. Needed perspective. The terrace overlooked the ocean. Waves rolling in under moonlight. Peaceful. Timeless. The kind of view that reminded you some things matter more than temporary embarrassment. Colonel Sullivan? I turned. A young man in a black suit. Professional bearing. The kind of alertness that came from military training. Sir, Staff Sergeant Thompson, Marine Security Forces. I'm part of tonight's security detail. Security detail? Yes, sir. 5-man team, all prior service. The club's insurance requires professional security for events over 100 guests. I see. Sir, just wanted you to know. It's an honor working an event where you're present. Word gets around in the veteran community. What word is that, Sergeant? That you take care of people who served with you. That Sullivan Defense Consulting hires veterans, gives them real opportunities. I nodded. Good people deserve good work. Yes, sir. Also wanted to mention, we're all aware of your corporate partnership with the club. Management briefed us on VIP protocols. VIP protocols? For major sponsors and board members. Different security considerations. Interesting. How many people know about the sponsorship? Just security and senior management, sir. Club policy keeps financial arrangements confidential. Good policy. Yes, sir. Anyway, beautiful event. Beautiful. Your daughter looks happy. Happy. Yes, happy enough to erase her father from the traditional moments that defined weddings. Happy enough to choose her new family's comfort over her old family's dignity. Thank you, Sergeant. Enjoy your evening. Will do, sir. He walked away. Professional, respectful. The kind of young man who understood that honor wasn't negotiable, unlike some people. I looked back toward the reception. Through the windows, I could see Patricia holding court at our table, Charles Sr. laughing at something she'd said, both of them completely unaware that their comfortable evening was about to become very educational. The family dance was a disaster. Not the choreography, not the music, those were fine. The disaster was watching my daughter orbit around the Whitmores like she was auditioning for acceptance. Patricia and Charles Sr. commanded the center of the floor. Kelly and Charles followed their lead. I danced with Charles's sister, a pleasant woman who'd clearly been briefed to keep me occupied. When the song ended, applause filled the room. Cameras flashed. The photographer, a sharp-eyed woman I'd noticed documenting everything, captured the moment. But I wasn't in the center shots. Kelly had positioned herself so the primary photos showed her with the Whitmores. Her father was background decoration. The message was clear. Charles Sr. took the microphone for toasts. 5 minutes about family traditions and bright futures. Polite applause. Patricia followed. Another 5 minutes about Kelly joining their family and carrying forward their values. More applause. Then Kelly herself. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. This has been the most perfect day of my life. She thanked the Whitmores for welcoming her. Thanked the guests for their support. Thanked the staff for their service. She didn't mention her father. Not once. The woman who'd paid for half her wedding had become invisible. I stood at the back of the room, listening to my daughter erase me from the most important day of her life. When she finished, people started approaching me, well-meaning guests offering congratulations and asking about my toast. Actually, I said to each one, I'm not giving a toast. Really? How come? Asked Kelly. Word spread quickly. By the time dinner service resumed, half the room knew something was wrong. That's when Patricia made her move. She found me at the bar. Third bourbon of the evening, not drunk, just tired of pretending everything was fine. James, I think we need to clear the air. Do we? Yes, I'm concerned about your energy tonight. My energy? You seem agitated, aggressive. The bartender, another veteran I'd noticed from his bearing, continued polishing glasses. But he was listening. Aggressive how? Your comments at dinner, your attitude during the family dance. Some of our guests are becoming uncomfortable. Which guests? Several people have mentioned it. Names. I don't think that's... Give me names, Patricia. Who specifically feels uncomfortable? Her composure cracked slightly. It's not about specific individuals. It's about the overall atmosphere. The atmosphere created by a father attending his daughter's wedding. The atmosphere created by someone who seems angry about arrangements that were made for everyone's benefit. Everyone's benefit, yes, including mine. Including the family's. Kelly's new family. There it was. The knife slipped between my ribs so smoothly I almost missed it. Kelly's new family. Yes. What about her old family?
Patricia glanced around. We were drawing attention. Good. James, you're obviously feeling excluded. I'm feeling erased. That's not. It's exactly what's happening, and you're orchestrating it. Her voice dropped. I'm trying to help Kelly transition into a new phase of her life. By cutting out the people who got her there? By helping her understand what her new position requires, which is maintaining appropriate relationships with appropriate people. The bartender stopped polishing. 2 conversations at nearby tables went quiet. Appropriate people. Yes, like you. Like people who share similar values and social expectations. And I don't? You have different experiences, different perspectives on how to handle social situations. Social situations like wedding receptions. Social situations like any gathering where behavior matters. I set down my glass. Patricia, let me ask you something. What? Do you think I'm stupid? I think you're missing the subtleties. Do you think I'm too unsophisticated to understand what you're really saying? She straightened. I think you're taking this personally, when it's simply about Kelly's future. Kelly's future without her father. Kelly's future with people who can help her achieve her goals. What goals are those? Social advancement, business connections, the kind of network that opens doors. Doors that stay closed to people like me. Doors that stay closed to people who don't understand the rules. The room was quieter now. Conversations pausing as people sensed confrontation. What rules, Patricia? The rules of polite society, such as knowing when your presence might create tension for others. Others meaning who? Others meaning people who matter to Kelly's success. And I don't matter? You matter to Kelly personally, but professionally, socially, your background creates complications. Complications. Yes. Like the complication of having a father who earned his money instead of inheriting it? Like the complication of having a father whose career involved violence. The word hung in the air like smoke from a gunshot. Violence. Yes. You mean military service. I mean whatever you did overseas that earned you those medals. She gestured at my ribbons, dismissive, like they were costume jewelry. Those medals represent saving lives, Patricia. I'm sure they do, but they also represent killing. They represent serving my country. They represent trauma, and people with trauma don't always make good decisions in social situations. The entire bar area had gone silent. 20 people listening to Patricia Whitmore explain why military veterans didn't belong in polite company. I looked around the room, saw the faces watching us, some confused, some embarrassed, some angry, including Kelly. My daughter stood near the dance floor, staring at us with panic in her eyes. This wasn't how her perfect evening was supposed to go. Patricia followed my gaze, saw Kelly's expression. Now look what you've done, she said. You've upset her. I've upset her? Yes, with your inability to control yourself in public, my inability to control myself. Yes. Patricia, let me explain something to you. What? If I couldn't control myself, this conversation would have ended very differently. Her eyes widened. Are you threatening me? I'm explaining the difference between choosing restraint and lacking options. I don't understand. You will. Kelly approached us, face flushed, voice shaking. Dad, what's going on? I looked at my daughter, the little girl who used to beg for bedtime stories about brave soldiers, who wore my dog tags to school for show and tell, who promised she'd always be proud of her daddy the hero. Ask your mother-in-law, I said. Patricia? Patricia's composure was cracking. Your father is having difficulty accepting the new family dynamics. What new family dynamics? The reality that you're a Whitmore now, with different social expectations. Kelly's face went blank. Processing, understanding. Then she looked at me, and I saw her make a choice. Dad, maybe you should go. The room went completely silent. Kelly, you're embarrassing me. Embarrassing us. This is my wedding, and you're making it about you. I'm making it about respect. You're making it about your ego. My ego? Yes. Your need to be the center of attention. Your inability to let me have one perfect day. She was choosing them, in front of everyone. My daughter was choosing the Whitmores over the man who'd raised her, fed her, paid for the dress she was wearing. Kelly, do you know what this evening cost? It cost $95,000, and now you're using that to control me. I'm not controlling anything. Yes, you are. You're trying to force people to respect you because you paid for things. Patricia smiled behind my daughter's back. Victory. But here's the thing, Dad. Your money was invited tonight. You weren't. The words hit like shrapnel. Sharp. Precise. designed to destroy. So maybe you should leave, before you ruin anything else. I stood there for 10 seconds, looking at my daughter, looking at Patricia's satisfied expression, looking at 150 guests watching my public humiliation. Then I smiled, the kind of smile that made enemy combatants surrender. You know what, Kelly? You're absolutely right. I am? Yes, your money was invited. I wasn't. I reached into my jacket pocket. But there's something you don't know about this evening. I pulled out my phone, speed-dialed a number I knew by heart. Patricia? Jim Sullivan. Yes, I'm here at the club. We need to talk. Kelly looked confused. Dad, who are you calling? The general manager. Why? Because there's something you should know about this venue. Patricia Moore appeared within 30 seconds. Elegant black dress, professional demeanor, the kind of executive presence that commanded respect in corporate circles.
Colonel Sullivan, good evening.
Evening, Patricia. Beautiful event. Thank you, though I understand there's been some tension. Nothing we can't resolve, but I think it's time for full disclosure. Kelly looked between us. Full disclosure about what? Patricia Moore opened her leather portfolio, drew out a document folder. Miss Sullivan, I'm sorry, Mrs. Whitmore, are you familiar with your father's business relationship with Virginia Beach Country Club? Business relationship? Perhaps Colonel Sullivan should explain. I took the folder. 5 years of contracts, sponsorship agreements, financial partnerships that kept this place running. Kelly, you asked who was invited tonight. Let me show you. I opened the first document, held it so the nearby guests could see. Sullivan Defense Consulting, annual corporate sponsorship, $500,000. Kelly's face went white. What? Per year, for 3 years running. Patricia Whitmore stepped forward.
What is that supposed to mean?
It means this club exists because of that money. Patricia Moore nodded. Colonel Sullivan's sponsorship covers 30% of our annual operating budget, facility maintenance, staff salaries, event capabilities. 30%, I repeated. Charles Sr. appeared at Patricia's shoulder. Surely you're exaggerating. Am I? I pulled out my phone again. Patricia, could you walk them through the numbers? Certainly. She opened her tablet. Annual operating costs, $1.6 million. Corporate sponsorships total $570,000. Sullivan Defense Consulting represents the largest single contribution. The crowd around us was growing, word spreading through the reception like wildfire. But it's more than money, Patricia Moore continued. Colonel Sullivan's business connections have brought in 14 new corporate members. His veteran hiring initiative provides our security and maintenance staff.
I gestured toward the security team. 5 men in black suits stationed around the room. Staff Sergeant Thompson, Staff Sergeant Martinez, Corporal Rodriguez, Sergeant First Class Williams, Petty Officer Johnson. Each man straightened as I called his name. All prior service, all employed through Sullivan Defense Consulting placements, all working tonight because this club provides opportunities for veterans. Kelly stared at the security team. You hired them? I hired their company, veteran-owned security firm, one of 12 businesses we've helped establish in the last 3 years. 12 businesses? Patricia Moore answered. Colonel Sullivan's consulting work includes veteran business development. His clients require security services, transportation, catering, technical support. Rather than outsource to traditional companies, he created a network of veteran-owned enterprises. How many people? Kelly asked. Currently, 237 veterans employed through Sullivan Defense Initiatives. Average salary $68,000 annually. The math was sinking in. Not just the money, the scope. Charles Sr. cleared his throat. Very admirable. But what does this have to do with tonight? I smiled. Everything. I don't understand. You don't understand that this entire evening exists because of the relationships I've built, the money I've invested, the community I've created? Patricia Whitmore was looking pale. That's just business. Is it? Patricia, tell them about the insurance requirements. Patricia Moore consulted her tablet. Events over 100 guests require minimum 5-person security detail, professional catering insurance, liability coverage for alcohol service, emergency medical protocols. Protocols managed by whom? Sullivan Defense Consulting holds our primary service contracts. Which means? Which means tonight's entire operational framework runs through your companies. The guests were murmuring now, pieces clicking together. But here's the interesting part, I continued.
All of those contracts have specific clauses. What clauses? Charles Sr. asked. Patricia Moore looked uncomfortable. Termination provisions. If the corporate sponsor withdraws support, associated service contracts can be canceled with 24 hours notice. 24 hours? Or immediately, under certain circumstances. What circumstances? I took back the microphone from the DJ booth. The room went quiet. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the interruption, but there's something you should know about this evening. 150 faces turned toward me. My name is Colonel James Sullivan, United States Army, retired. I'm Kelly's father, and I'm the corporate sponsor who makes this venue possible. Murmurs rippled through the crowd.
3 years ago, this club faced financial difficulties. Sullivan Defense Consulting stepped in with a partnership agreement, $500,000 annually, plus veteran employment initiatives, plus corporate event bookings that generate additional revenue. The murmurs grew louder. Tonight has been beautiful. Kelly looks radiant. Charles seems like a good man. I've been honored to contribute to their celebration. I paused. Let the room settle. But I've learned something this evening. I've learned that some people believe military service disqualifies veterans from polite society, that our sacrifices embarrass sophisticated people, that our money is welcome, but our presence is not. You could hear breathing in the silence. So I'm going to honor that preference. Kelly stepped forward. Dad, what are you doing? I'm leaving, as requested. Dad, but since my money was invited and I wasn't, I'm taking my money with me.
I handed the termination documents to Patricia Moore.
Effective immediately, Sullivan Defense Consulting withdraws all financial support from Virginia Beach Country Club. Sponsorship agreements terminated. Service contracts canceled. Veteran employment partnerships dissolved. Patricia Moore's face went ashen. Colonel Sullivan, please reconsider. Staff Sergeant Thompson. Yes, sir. Redeploy your team. We're executing immediate withdrawal. Understood, sir. The 5 security guards moved with military precision. No drama, no confrontation. Just professional redeployment. Patricia Whitmore found her voice. You can't do this. Ma'am, I'm not doing anything. I'm simply honoring your request that I leave. But the club will have to find new sponsorship, new security, new veteran programs, new corporate partnerships. Charles Sr. stepped forward. This is ridiculous. Over a misunderstanding. Over disrespect for military service.
For the sacrifices made by better people than you'll ever meet. Kelly grabbed my arm. Dad, you're overreacting. Am I? Kelly, your mother-in-law just spent 20 minutes explaining why military veterans don't belong in civilized company, in front of a room full of people who depend on veteran-created businesses for their jobs. The crowd was buzzing now, conversations breaking out at every table. And you sided with her. I was trying to keep peace. You were choosing social advancement over family loyalty. That's not... Kelly, look around this room. See the staff, the security, the infrastructure that made tonight possible? Every bit of it exists because veterans like me created opportunities for veterans like them. I gestured to the security team, now positioned for departure. These men served their country, came home to civilian discrimination, found meaningful work through veteran-owned businesses, built lives and families and communities. The photographer was documenting everything, flash after flash capturing the moment. But according to your new family, their service embarrasses polite people. Their presence makes sophisticated guests uncomfortable. Patricia Whitmore tried to interrupt. That's not what I... Ma'am, you said exactly what you meant, and now you get exactly what you asked for. I turned to Patricia Moore. Contracts terminate at midnight. Staff has until then to secure retry S continue alternative arrangements. Security withdrawal effective immediately. Patricia Moore nodded grimly. Understood, Colonel, though I hope you'll reconsider. Ma'am, some decisions can't be reconsidered. I looked back at Kelly, my daughter, standing in her $10,000 dress, finally understanding what she'd chosen. You wanted your father gone. Your father is gone, but so is everything he built here. Dad, please. Kelly, you made your choice in front of 150 witnesses. Now live with the consequences. I turned to address the room one final time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending Kelly's wedding. I hope you've enjoyed this evening, because it represents the last event of its kind this venue will be able to host. The crowd erupted in whispers and shocked conversations. Staff Sergeant Thompson, are we ready? Ready, sir. Execute withdrawal. The security team formed up. Professional. Precise. the kind of coordination that comes from training and trust. Colonel Sullivan, Patricia Moore called. What about the remaining events? The anniversary party next weekend? The corporate dinner on Thursday? Cancelled. The veteran-staffed catering company won't be available. Neither will security services. But we have contracts. You had contracts. With companies that don't work with organizations that disrespect military service. The photographer stepped forward. Colonel Sullivan, Diana Brooks, Hampton Roads Military Times.
Would you comment on tonight's events?
Military Times. Of course. The veteran community would hear about this within hours. Miss Brooks, I'd simply say that respect is earned, not purchased, and some prices are too high to pay. Even for family, especially for family, family should be the one place where respect is unconditional. Kelly pushed through the crowd. Dad, wait, we can fix this. Fix what? The fact that you're ashamed of the man who raised you? The fact that your new family considers military service embarrassing? Kelly, they spent the evening explaining why veterans make polite people uncomfortable. You agreed with them. I was trying to keep everyone happy. You can't keep everyone happy by throwing away your integrity. What about forgiveness? What about family loyalty? I looked at my daughter, the little girl who used to salute me when I came home on leave, who promised she'd always be proud of her soldier daddy.
Kelly, family loyalty works both ways. Tonight, you chose theirs over mine.
I chose peace. You chose status, over the man who taught you that honor matters more than appearances. The room had gone quiet again. 150 people watching a family destroy itself in real time. But here's what you didn't understand, I continued. Status built on disrespecting others doesn't last. It crumbles the moment someone stops enabling it. I handed Kelly an envelope. What's this? Wedding gift, check for $50,000 for your house down payment. She opened it, stared at the amount. Dad, I can't. Yes, you can. Because unlike the Whitmores, I don't withdraw financial support to punish people. Then what? Because a gift doesn't obligate you to respect the giver, but it should prevent you from disrespecting them. I turned toward the exit. The security team formed a professional escort. Staff Sergeant Thompson? Sir. Make sure the withdrawal is documented.
Full report to veteran business community. Some clients need to know which venues support veteran enterprises. Understood, sir. As we reached the door, Patricia Whitmore called out, James, you're being childish. I stopped, turned back. Ma'am, I'm being decisive. There's a difference. Over wounded pride. Over earned respect. Something you'll understand when you're scrambling to replace $500,000 in annual revenue. The last thing I heard as the doors closed was Kelly calling my name. But some withdrawals are permanent. The parking lot felt like a different world. Quiet. Cool ocean breeze. Stars visible despite the city lights. The kind of peace that comes after making a decision you can live with. Staff Sergeant Thompson approached as I reached my car. Sir, team is redeployed. Perimeter secure. Status of venue security. Club manager is scrambling. They're calling Hampton Security Services for emergency coverage. Hampton's veteran-owned? Yes, sir. Marcus Rodriguez, former Army MP. He'll probably decline once word spreads. Word spreads how? Sir, Diana Brooks isn't just photographing. She's recording audio. This is going to be a feature story. Military Times, 20,000 circulation among active duty and veterans, plus online distribution to veteran community nationwide. Timeline for publication? Brooks mentioned running it Sunday. Country Club Confrontation, when military respect meets social status. Something like that. Sunday, 2 days from now. By Monday morning, every veteran business owner on the East Coast would know about tonight. Sir? Corporal Rodriguez joined us. Club manager wants to speak with you. I looked back toward the venue. Through the windows, I could see chaos building. Guests clustered in confused conversations. Staff huddling with management. The Whitmores surrounded by concerned friends. Tell her I'm unavailable for further discussion. She's asking about reversal options, contract reinstatement. Negative. Withdrawal is permanent. Understood, sir. My phone buzzed. Text message from Kelly. Dad, please come back. We need to talk. I showed the message to Thompson. What's your assessment, Staff Sergeant? Sir, respectfully, that ship has sailed. She made her choice in front of witnesses. Agreed. Another text. Patricia apologized. She didn't mean it the way it sounded. Then another. The club manager says they need your contracts. People will lose jobs. I handed the phone to Rodriguez. Any response recommendations? Sir, in my experience, apologies that come after consequences aren't sincere. They're damage control. What about the job losses? Sir,
Those jobs exist because you created them. If the venue doesn't respect veterans, veteran-created jobs shouldn't be supporting it. Sound logic. Military logic. Mission first, personal feelings second. But Kelly was my daughter. I took back the phone, typed a response. Kelly, some lessons cost more than others. This one cost you a father and the club $500,000 annually. Choose your next words carefully. Send. The response came immediately. That's not fair. I was trying to keep everyone happy. Fair would have been you defending the man who raised you instead of appeasing people who think veterans are embarrassing. They don't think that. They said it out loud, in front of witnesses. You agreed with them. I was trying to prevent a scene. Kelly, preventing a scene by sacrificing principles isn't maturity. It's cowardice. 3 minutes of silence. Then, what do you want from me? The question hung on my screen like a challenge. What did I want from my daughter? An apology? Too late. Recognition of what she'd done? She'd figure that out when the bills came due. Respect for military service? That was between her and her conscience. I typed carefully. I want you to understand that actions have consequences. You chose social acceptance over family loyalty. That choice comes with a price. What price? The price of learning that respect based on money isn't respect, it's transaction. I don't understand. You will, when the Whitmores start treating you differently because your father can't fund their lifestyle anymore. That's not why Kelly, they accepted $95,000 from a man they consider socially inferior. What does that tell you about their values? No response. And you defended those values over the man who taught you about honor and integrity. Still nothing. When you're ready to have a real conversation about respect and family, call me. I put the phone away. Diana Brooks approached from the venue entrance. Professional camera equipment, recording device visible. Colonel Sullivan, could I ask a few follow-up questions? Miss Brooks.
What message do you hope tonight sends to the veteran community?
I considered the question. What message? That respect isn't negotiable. That military service deserves recognition, not apology. That veteran businesses should support organizations that value veteran contributions. And to your daughter? That some prices are too high to pay for acceptance. Even family acceptance? Especially family acceptance. Family should be the one place where your worth isn't questioned. Will you reconcile? That depends on whether she understands what she sacrificed tonight, which was the relationship with the one person who loved her unconditionally. Brooks nodded. Thank you, Colonel. Ma'am. She headed back toward the venue. Story in progress. By Sunday, the veteran community would know about Virginia Beach Country Club's position on military service. Thompson approached one final time. Sir, team ready for departure. Orders? Dismissed. Outstanding work tonight. Thank you, sir. And sir? Yes. Speaking for the team, what you did in there took courage, standing up for all of us. Staff Sergeant, we've all faced worse than social disapproval. Yes, sir, but not from family. He was right. Enemy fire was honest. Family betrayal cut deeper. Thompson? Sir? Make sure Rodriguez gets that emergency security contract. Hampton needs the business. Will do, sir. Anything else? I looked back at the venue one last time. Through the windows, I could see Kelly standing alone near the dance floor. Her perfect wedding had become a lesson in consequences. Some lessons you teach, others you learn. Tonight, we'd all learned something. No, Staff Sergeant. Mission complete. Sunday morning, 0600 hours. My phone started ringing before coffee finished brewing. Diana Brooks's article had hit Military Times website at midnight. 24 hours later, the veteran community was responding. First call came from Marcus Rodriguez, Hampton Security Services. Colonel Sullivan? Sir, I just read the Times article. Want you to know Hampton stands with you. Appreciate that, Marcus. Sir, Virginia Beach Country Club called yesterday. Emergency security contract, I declined. Good call. Words spreading through the Veteran Business Network. Tidewater Veterans Association called emergency meeting for Monday night. They want your account of what happened. What's the purpose? Vote on recommending veteran-owned businesses avoid contracts with organizations that disrespect military service. The phone kept ringing. 23 calls by noon. Veteran business owners, former colleagues, military families expressing support. But not Kelly. Monday brought consequences. Patricia Moore called at 0800. Colonel Sullivan, we need to discuss contract restoration. Nothing to discuss. Termination is final.
Sir, we're facing operational crisis. Security coverage failed over the weekend. Emergency contractor costs are exceeding monthly budget. Not my problem. The anniversary party Saturday was canceled. Corporate dinner Thursday is in jeopardy. We're looking at $40,000 in lost revenue this week alone. Patricia, that's what happens when you bite the hand that feeds you. Sir, this wasn't our decision. This was guest commentary that escalated. This was your venue, your guests, your failure to maintain respectful environment for all attendees. Could we schedule a meeting? Discuss terms for renewed partnership? Terms? Compensation adjustment, public apology, whatever you think appropriate. I considered the offer, not because I wanted their money back, because I wanted to see if they understood what they'd lost. Patricia, what would a public apology look like? Whatever you recommend. Full page in Virginian Pilot newspaper? Statement at next membership meeting? What would the statement say? That Virginia Beach Country Club values military service and regrets any misunderstanding. Stop there. Misunderstanding. Poor choice of words. Regrets the disrespectful treatment. Of whom? Of you. Of veterans. Of military families. By whom? Silence. Patricia, who would be apologizing? The club management. What about the Whitmore family? Longer silence. That's a separate matter between families. Is it? Because they're still members, aren't they? Still using club facilities? Still enjoying benefits funded by the partnerships they helped destroy? Sir, we can't control member behavior. You can choose which behavior you enable. I hung up. The phone rang again immediately. Different number. Colonel Sullivan, Charles Whitmore Sr. Mr. Whitmore. Sir, I think we got off on the wrong foot Saturday night. Did we? Yes. Patricia spoke inappropriately. We understand you were offended. Offended isn't the right word. What would be the right word? Disrespected, insulted, dismissed. Right. And we'd like to make amends. How? Well, the club situation affects all of us. Perhaps we could discuss restoring your sponsorship? Why would you want that? Because your partnership benefits everyone. The club, the community, veteran employment. But not you personally. I'm sorry? Your family doesn't benefit from my veteran employment initiatives. You don't need the club's financial stability. You have other venues, other options. That's true, but so why do you care if my contracts get restored? Pause. Because Kelly is devastated. About the club situation? About losing her father. There it was, the real reason for the call. Mr. Whitmore, Kelly didn't lose her father. She chose to disrespect him. She was trying to navigate a difficult social situation. She was trying to impress your family by throwing mine under the bus. That's not... Charles, let me ask you something. What did Patricia mean when she said military service involves trauma that makes veterans unsuitable for polite company? She misspoke. She was nervous. She spoke clearly, for 20 minutes, about veteran inferiority and social unfitness. She doesn't represent our family's views. She married into your family. She speaks for your social circle. And Kelly sided with her. Kelly was confused. Kelly was embarrassed by the father who raised her, who paid for her wedding, who created the business relationships that made her perfect evening possible. Can we move past this? Move past what? The disrespect? The betrayal? The public humiliation? Move past the misunderstanding and rebuild family relationships. Charles, there was no misunderstanding. Your family made it clear that military veterans embarrass sophisticated people, Kelly agreed. Now you want to pretend it didn't happen because there are consequences. What would it take to fix this? It can't be fixed. Everything can be fixed with the right approach. Some things can't be unsaid. Some choices can't be undone. But family should be the one place where respect is unconditional. Kelly made it conditional on social acceptance. I hung up. Wednesday evening, 1930 hours. Tidewater Veterans Association meeting. VFW Post 392. 87 veteran business owners in attendance. Diana Brooks was there too. Follow-up story in progress. Commander Sarah Mitchell called the meeting to order. We're here to discuss Saturday's incident at Virginia Beach Country Club. Colonel Sullivan, would you brief the membership? I kept it factual. Timeline of events. Specific comments about veteran unsuitability. Kelly's public choice. Contract termination.
Questions came quickly. Are other venues expressing similar attitudes? Unknown. This is the first direct confrontation I've experienced. What's the impact on veteran employment? Immediate loss, 43 jobs, security, catering, maintenance contracts. Replacement opportunities? Hampton Roads Community Center wants veteran security contract.
Norfolk Business Association interested in veteran employment partnership. Club response. Damage control. Apology offers. Contract restoration attempts. Your assessment? Apologies motivated by financial pressure, not genuine remorse. Commander Mitchell called for discussion. Veteran after veteran stood up. Stories of social dismissal, employment discrimination, family embarrassment about military service. The pattern was clear.
Motion. Tidewater Veterans Association recommends member businesses decline contracts with Virginia Beach Country Club until club leadership demonstrates genuine respect for military service. Vote 82 in favor, 3 opposed, 2 abstentions. Motion. Association publishes list of veteran-friendly businesses and venues for member referrals. Vote unanimous. Motion. Association requests Hampton Roads media coverage of veteran employment discrimination. Vote 79 in favor, 6 opposed, 2 abstentions. The veteran business community had spoken. Virginia Beach Country Club would face consequences until they faced reality. Thursday morning brought one more call. Kelly. Dad, we need to talk. Do we? Yes, in person. Why? Because I understand now. Understand what? What I did, what I lost, what it's going to cost to fix it. I looked out my office window. Sullivan Defense Consulting, 30 employees, 15 military contracts, 23 veteran business partnerships. All of it built on the principle that respect was earned and honor was non-negotiable. Kelly, some things can't be fixed, but they can be learned from. Can they? I hope so, because I need to learn how to be your daughter again. The first honest words she'd spoken since Saturday night. When? Today, if you'll let me. Some bridges once burned couldn't be rebuilt, but some could be replaced. Come to my office, we'll talk. Thank you, Dad. Maybe, maybe not. But some lessons were worth the risk. Kelly arrived at 1400 hours. No designer dress, no wedding makeup. Just my daughter, looking like she hadn't slept in 4 days. Dad. Kelly. She sat across from my desk. Same chair where veteran business owners pitched their companies. Where former soldiers asked for employment opportunities. Where respect was earned, not inherited. I read the Military Times article. And I didn't recognize myself in it. No, the person who sided against her own father? Who chose social status over family loyalty? That's not who I thought I was. But it's who you were Saturday night. Yes. Simple acknowledgement. No excuses. No justifications. Why? Because I wanted them to like me. The Whitmores, their friends, their social circle. More than you wanted to respect me. I thought I could have both. I thought if I just kept everyone happy. Kelly, you can't keep everyone happy by sacrificing your principles. I know that now. Do you? Dad, I lost you. Charles's family is treating me differently because your money isn't backing their lifestyle anymore. Half my new social connections have disappeared because the club can't host events. And I realized something. The people who stopped respecting me when you withdrew support never respected me at all. I leaned back in my chair. What else? That you built something real. Veteran employment, business partnerships, community respect, things that matter. And I threw it away for people who value money over character. Kelly, this isn't about money. This never was. I know. It's about honor, about standing up for what's right, about not being ashamed of the people who sacrificed for you. She was learning, but learning and changing were different things. What do you want from me, Kelly? A chance to earn back your respect. How? However long it takes, whatever it requires. I stood up, walked to the window. 30 floors below, Norfolk Harbor stretched toward the Atlantic, ships moving with purpose and precision. Kelly, respect isn't something you earn once and keep forever. It's something you demonstrate every day. I understand. Do you? Because Saturday night, you had a choice between family loyalty and social acceptance. You chose social acceptance, and I was wrong. You were. But more importantly, you showed me who you are when the pressure's on. Then let me show you who I can become. I turned around, looked at my daughter, the little girl who used to be proud of her soldier daddy. Kelly, we can rebuild our relationship, but it's going to be different. How different? No more choosing other people's comfort over family respect. No more being ashamed of military service. No more pretending that social status matters more than character. I agree. And if you ever again side with people who disrespect veterans, we're done. Permanently. I understand. Do you? Because some boundaries, once crossed, end relationships forever. I understand, Dad.
Maybe she did, maybe she didn't, but some lessons were worth teaching twice. Then let's start over. But this time we do it with clear expectations about respect, honor, and family loyalty. Yes, sir. The first time she'd called me sir since she was 12 years old. Some bridges could be rebuilt, but they'd be stronger the second time around.